Due to Terrence Howard's recent revelation of the awful things he did to him and Brashear Gray, the D-Diddler is not getting any breaks. However, because it's not just them, it gets worse. At Diddy's gatherings, a number of other black men were utilized as toys. So let's get started right away. When Terrence Howard first sat down for this interview with PDB, everything was calm until he began to drop bombs. At the BBQ, Terrence was letting it all out like your uncle after 2 Hennessy's, not engaging in gossip. Terrence continued talking about the suffering that creatives endure and the poisonous ways they must cope with it. When asked why some celebrities' lives don't end well, he said that the industry will eat you up and spit you out.
You're going through so much to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far, you know?
Then he struck us with that genuine anguish, the kind that comes from seeing people destroy themselves for a small amount of fame rather than from acting, mentioning other deceased luminaries such as Philip and Heath, who shared his honors but had to endure hardships to obtain them.
Who knows what Heath had to do in order to get to where he was at. There's a lot of things.
However, Terrence also gave us a hard line about losing your man card at that point. He wasn't referring to toxic masculinity or some alpha male bullshit when he stated man card. He is discussing that entire
sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. You know, but when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card.
Suddenly the name Terrence was dropped. Terrence initially discussed how some people who attended Diddy parties didn't anticipate it catching up to them until it did. And now they must deal with the fallout from their Diddy-sponsored behavior.
I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the Puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You have a greater desire than being a man.
Then he related the tale. When Diddy reportedly asked Terrence to assist him in acting, Terrence initially thought, bet, let me help this brother out. However, when he arrived, there was nothing on the script, just Diddy sitting there and staring. There were strange sensations everywhere. Diddy requested to hear Terrence's music once more, but the atmosphere remained the same. Then Terrence was approached once more by Diddy's aide, who said, "You should come back and hang." Diddy might want to have private relations with him, said Terrence's own aide. Terrence did what any respectable person would do and abruptly stopped seeing Diddy after learning that all the strange glances and vibes suddenly made sense.
Invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I'm playing the music. I'm sitting there, just looking at him, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He was like, I think he's trying to. That's what my assistant said. I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with.
Say what you want now? However, that doesn't sound like a lesson in acting. It sounds like a bottle service setup with a casting couch. It becomes hefty at this point. Although Terrence indicated that he wasn't the only person they tried, he was among the few who declined. He continued by revealing the bizarre nature of some of the producers and threatening to beat the heads of anyone who dared to approach him in that manner.
Make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction.
And it cost him his entire career. That is not popular in Hollywood. Your phone abruptly stops ringing after you say no to the wrong people. But Terrence didn't fold. He said that because he cherishes his man card and believes that no business is worth jeopardizing it, he doesn't go out of his way for anyone or play gay roles.
This is because I don't bend over in that. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that because the man card means everything.
Although everyone has different opinions about roles and representation, this wasn't about homophobia, so this part may upset some people. Terrence was saying that he doesn't do anything that makes him feel like he's not being authentic. Nobody anticipated Terrence's trajectory, but as of right now, it's not even the most bizarre thing we've heard about Diddy. However, as Terrence stated, he wasn't the only victim. Many young black men were also used and thrown away by these producers at these parties like paid toys. One such individual who has also been connected to Terrence is Bray Gray, the actor who portrayed Hockey on Empire. Terrence made an effort to protect him, but the system had him already. And it's just depressing to see how Bray's life was at the pinnacle of the game, how his career has now been ruined, and how he must now work as a gay maid to make ends meet.
Just what's bothering me is that being a celebrity sometimes comes with, like, everybody wants to be successful in a celebrity and stuff like that, but it comes with, you know, sometimes, and, you know, that's the only thing that I hate about it.
One of the first people to make the whole Brakir Gray situation public was Jaguar Wright, but she didn't just blame Diddy. She also brought Will Smith along. According to Jaguar, they did brace you dirty, like soul-snatching dirty, and now they're trying to make sure that boy never has the strength to talk about it. To make it worse, Jaguar said it was done in the presence of Jaden Smith and Justin Combs. They allegedly turned that boy into a plaything. And the whole thing was allegedly recorded on a tape.
Trying to sleep out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present that tape.
Jaguar wasn't even subtle. She was furious. She didn't spare anybody, not Diddy, not Will, and definitely not Bray, Char's mom, whom she accused of selling her son's soul for a book. Deal that didn't go anywhere near success.
I'ma kick you in your in and I'ma go to work North Philly style. And Charlie, you happy now? He's a gay star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't sell?
He even called out Bray Char's mother for letting Will Smith have his way with him and letting his manager Charlie pump him up with nose candy. Jaguar painted a picture of a mother who allegedly sold her son to predators in exchange for a storyline and a new man.
That came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to get to help her get out of California into Chicago State to be ready for filming. She knew she knew what Will did to him. But because of Charlie, see? And Charlie had promised her all kinds of things. And all she had to do was pretend to be a broken down single mom who worked her way up through the ghetto and raised a superstar for television, when the truth is, she wasn't nothing but a dealer's whore.
And trust me, people have a lot of opinions on this entire thing. One commenter said, "I agree with Terrence Howard, and he needs to speak his own truth and tell his story." Another person said, "His body was used by powerful men." Another added, 1. First they say you're crazy. 2. Then the truth comes out. 3. I believe Jaguar. But what do you think about Diddy making a pass at Terrence Howard? Were Diddy and Will responsible for the catastrophes in Begare's life? Let us know below in the comments, and watch out for this other video because it's just as insane.